Hello and welcome to this second session of our mini campaign in Itras By. This game is a Gauntlet Hangout game, and this last session was very good, and I'm already very excited for seeing how this is going to go. Last time we ended with a shock reveal that our friend Hans Gustav wasn't really Hans Gustav, but a monkey in disguise. And also Ellie had to make no, Tina, your character Frida had to make a hard choice about money, where our other, I guess, protagonist or NPC, Ellie, gave you the choice of selling, buying a dream for a lot of money, but then only if you keep your dream business exclusive to the rich.
Which is out of the question.
Yeah.
So I didn't take the money.
You didn't. Which will be interesting to see. I think how you go with that, given that maybe then we'll see some dreams in Black Harbor this evening. I think we'll start the session off with like a little vignette. I think it's like a small time skip. I don't know. We'll like establish how long from the first of you setting the scene, but I think it's not like the same evening still. And I think you see like there's this guy on a like one-wheel bike shouting, "Get today's morning news." This I think he's shouting like blistering reviews for the new book about called The Monkey Garden by Hans Gustav. And then I think you see like this other guy biking behind him shouting like extra Hans Gustav was a monkey all along. It seems in the book he's shouting about the head of me is a biography. And then I think like we cut over to like this the door of the detectives, the PI's private investigator. The door is just opening and someone is walking into your office. PI, who is it?
It's Maud. Maud has stepped in with a long stick cigarette and the private investigator looks at it, recognizes her, but it doesn't look like Frida. She looks colder and harder. The PI takes his feet off the table and straightens his tie and pours the dame a drink. Invites her to sit and wonders why she's here.
Yeah. How does the furniture? What does the chair look like in this office first?
So, as you step past the threshold, there's a typewriter out there that takes all the notes, but it's in black and white. Whether it was black and white on outside, here it's black and white, and there's always just enough sunlight to throw sunlight and shade across the blinds, so you can always see like as if you've got right in front of sitting in front of blinds. There is there's a desk, a leather top desk, and there's two identical sort of half moon chairs on the other side of the table.
Yeah, I think she sits down and she takes I think she puts like her feet, like she wears like very like elegant high heels, black, of course, especially in this office, and puts them on the desk, like leaning back, and like takes this deep drag of the cigarette and blows out like an obscene amount of smoke into the office.
First thing the private eye notes is that she's got 2 left feet. She won't be good at dancing.
She looks up at you and says, "I cannot believe that you are a private investigator." But I've heard good things.
So the PI leans forward, thinking, what else could I be other than a private investigator? And I wonder who's told her about my reputation.
She takes her feet down from the desk and gets up. I think you notice that she's slightly taller than Frida. Maybe it's her heels. She looks you up and down and says, "Well, I have a mystery for you, PI."
The PI leaned back in his chair and lit a cigarette and wondered where adventure would take him this time.
Well, my sister, she got a tattoo. I want to know from where. It's being rebellious, I've heard. There's been rumors.
The PI took a deep breath of the cigarette and looked at the picture of Frida on the Leninist monkey conspiracy board and wondered, is this connected? I wonder if the tattoo was done by a man or a monkey. The PI thought, damn it, I need the money. I'll take the case. Usual rates would apply. $25 a day plus expenses. Expenses were always $50 a day or more.
She frowns, I think, at you should keep a tighter budget, maybe get an accountant. I've heard the monkeys make good accountants. And she turns around and says, but I'll pay. And she blows out another cloud of smoke on the way out. You'll know where to find me when the case is closed.
I watched her leave and thought, damn, she's like cold and hard compared to Frida. So strange. I wonder how Frida would feel about me working for Maud and whether I should tell her.
Speaking of which, Frida, where are you this afternoon?
Well, since it's the afternoon, I'm probably on my way home from the office. And probably buying one of those newspapers and reading about Hans Gustav and kind of recognizing this dream I was going to sell to Ellie in his autobiography.
Yeah, I think you see there's two articles about Hans Gustav. One is in the regular paper, one is in the slanderous part. And in the slanderous part, there's a rumor that he was not really a monkey all along. He just was so sad about his lover leaving him, and you think about how Hans Gustav longingly looked at Joseph the last time you saw him.
Must be Joseph they are talking about. And how? What do they mean? He wasn't a monkey from the beginning. Can you become a monkey like one of the Grimasks? From sadness? It is kind of scary to write.
And where is who is your new lover, Joseph?
My new lover is a libretto writer, and she writes the libretto for the monkey uprising or the monkey revolution. So she turns the autobiography into an opera.
Of course, for Joseph to sing.
Yes. And I need to think of a name. Her name is Kasia Müller.
Yeah, I think she lives in like a very small apartment in the Black Bay. It's above a factory that makes mechanical hearts for heartbroken rich people. And I think you are you at her place now, or are you on the way out?
Yeah, I think Joseph is on his way out, and he says over his shoulder, "Be strong, Kasia. You need to work night and day, because the opera has to be finished by Saturday."
And I think you like there's a smash cut to her sitting at her desk. It's like a very old, worn desk, and you see that there's the only other thing in this room except her typewriter is like a mattress on her floor, and the flowers you brought her. That's on the next, like in like a, I think just like a beer bottle or something like that in next to the bed. And she like looks back at you almost like with fear in her eyes, and like looks back at the typewriter and says, I will find the voice of the monkey. Come Saturday, you will have an opera.
And he hears the voice from already downstairs. He's like a flight of stairs down when he hears her saying that.
Yeah, and I think as you read that, Frida, you actually see Joseph coming out of the mechanical heart factory. How strange!
Wow.
What do you do?
I'm wondering. I have sold him some dreams, so I know him well enough to approach him, I believe. So I go to Joseph and ask him whether he knows anything about Hans Gustav and what happened to him. So, are you still together with Hans Gustav?
Joseph laughs. Hans, this is This is an old story, an old lover of mine. No. We broke up.
Oh, well, he's kind of famous now, isn't it? Isn't it interesting what the papers say about how he wasn't always a monkey?
And Josip takes the newspaper and skims through the article. Is there anything about the book, like how is it received?
Yes, in the series section of the newspaper, it says that it's the best book that Itras has seen in at least a decade. Such a I think it says like that nobody that has read it has avoided crying or shouting, depending on which part of the society you are. You rather shout if you're poor and cry if you're rich.
And Josip smiles and says, "See, a broken heart can inspire you to such a great work."
Oh, was it you who broke his heart then? Is that why you're at the factory, to get him a new heart?
I mean, did I broke his heart? Who is to say? He was a very sensitive man. Or he's still a monkey. I don't know.
So when you were with him, did he give any indication of being a monkey? I mean, you must have noticed.
I mean, man, monkey. What really is the difference?
As they're speaking, she still has the small bottle of the dream she was going to give to Ellie in her coat pocket, and grabs it inside the pocket closely and says, "Well, about Hans Gustav's story, I feel as though I've heard of it before, but I can't really say where. How is that possible?"
Maybe you heard in a dream.
Oh, maybe. By the way, are you interested in any new dreams?
I am. I always am. I haven't dreamt in days.
I haven't dreamt any. Well, any particular things you'd like to see?
I'd like to be a monkey for a night, to feel like a heroic monkey.
Oh,
One who overcomes their fears to lead maybe a rebellion.
Well, she grabs the bottle in her coat pocket a bit closer and wonders if this could work for Joseph as is. But she's never tried giving another person the dream destined for somebody else. I think I may have something for you then. Right away. Maybe that could be worth some more than usual, since I can deliver so quickly.
Yeah, and I grab. I don't know. I don't think that Josip is rich, but
Of course not.
I mean, as an artist. So what little money he has, he gives to you, and he says, "Well, I can again introduce you to the right people. Maybe have you heard of the writer Kasia Müller?
No, can't say that I have.
She's a fascinating artist, and she might need some creative juice."
Oh,
And he points towards the Broken Heart Factory.
oh, that's interesting. Maybe you could introduce us soon.
Just go upstairs and mention me.
Oh, that's really, I'm a little shy about those things, but if you say so.
And then, yeah, I think Josip grabs his mono wheel bike and cycles away. See you soon, Frida.
Well, see you, Josip.
Yeah, and I think we cut over to the PI. Where is the first place you go to investigate? Is it Frida's home, or are you following her trail?
Well, PI needs to see Frida's tattoo. There's no way I can find the artist if I don't. Sorry, if you couldn't get that information out of Frida. So he thinks to himself, where am I going to find Frida?
Yeah, and I think
yeah, Frida always comes back to the bar. So that's as good a place as any.
Yeah, and I think there's this guy sitting next to you and says like, "Who is this Frida anyway?" He has also like a big tattoo. I think it's of a heart with dad in it.
The PI looked at the big guy's tattoo and thought, at least Frida had gone to an artist, not some back alley cutthroat who put that piece of rubbish on this guy's arm.
I think like for a second you think that it looks like the heart gets redder in an instant, and then you see no, it's only this big man's fist coming towards your face. What do you do?
The PI picks himself back off the floor and deals with his sore chin. First time I've been hit today, thinks to himself, I must be on the right track.
Yeah, and I think you see like this. There's definitely like at least two men holding this guy back and says, "Don't you talk shit about my dad." What is when does Frida come into the bar?
Well, I guess she actually went to the Kasia mother person, so she's a bit later than usual. But I guess just as the PI is probably getting up from the floor, from being hit. Well,
Yeah.
Frida comes into the door and sees the PI and shakes her head as usual.
Yeah, and I think we cut back to when you're talking to when you're going up the stairs to Kashamula's place. The door is still open, and I think you hear the clicking of the typewriter. And I think you hear like the very. Have you write yourself, right?
Frida?
Hmm?
Well, I'm a typist at the office, but not creatively. Just typing letters.
But you definitely like recognize the sound of someone writing something and then, going back, striking over it, and then writing something again.
Yes.
You walk into the room where the door is open and you see you see Kasha sitting there. She is quite like thin, has like dark hair, and is wearing like a very simple gray dress. And she doesn't even notice you coming into the room. What you do?
Well, I guess I walk up to her and then tap her on the shoulder, carefully. Miss Muller, I believe we have a common acquaintance.
She like continues typing common acquaintance.
Josip Abendroth.
Oh, yes, and she like turns around and looks up at you. Yes, why do you talk of him right now? I don't understand. Why are you here? Why are you in my room?
He sent me here because you need some help, he said.
Oh,
Some creative help.
oh, creative help.
And if I may add, typing help, possibly.
She like looks down at her paper and like rolls it out of the typewriter and like crumbles it and throws it out the window, and says, "Well, yes, I guess that's true, but I don't understand. How can you help exactly?"
Well, I create dreams that inspire people, especially artists. I have inspired, for example, the famous Ellie Manson, and also, yeah, of course, Josip himself.
Oh,
With my excellent, dreams, which are very cheap for what they are offering.
well, good, because I don't have a lot of money.
Oh, another one. Huh. So maybe you are going to pay me with people to sell more dreams to, I assume.
And she looks confused, and I think she actually like gets up and looks down at you, actually, because I mean she's taller than you. She's pretty tall, and I think what do you mean, people? You don't get paid in money?
Not always, though I'm trying to, because I want to build a business from this. Right now, I need to be a typist at an office.
That seems horrible. Getting paid in other things than money. I mean, do you have? We all need food, you know. I have some money, but. And she like opens her like this drawer, and you see in there is maybe like I guess like a $20 bill or something like that.
Wow.
And she says, like, let me give you this as like a first payment. I'm gonna be finished with a big play to Saturday, and hopefully I can get you more then.
Well, of course, Frida hesitates and says, "Oh, well, I hadn't realized you were also not very wealthy. I mean, of course, since you live here." Well, let's see. If I
mean, look at it this way: like, if what you're saying is true, then I'll surely get paid.
Look, well, listen, I can give you the dream, and you pay me when you have some benefit from it.
Yeah, and I think she takes up like her $20 bill, and she like, no, you have to take it. I'll feel bad if you don't. I mean, we all got to eat, right?
Yes, that's true, but I have another job, you know. Well, and then she grabs into her other coat pocket and finds a $10 bill to give her some change.
And she like nods and says, well, good on you on having another job. It's hard to be creative coming home from a life sucking job that just, and she like looks down at the typewriter and puts like in a new paper, rolls it in. It's hard enough already. And she like takes the dream. And I think actually I want you to grab a card here.
Chance or action?
Action, like to see if you succeed here with making her more productive.
Okay. Yes, but the character succeeds, but there's a tiny detail that doesn't go quite as planned. Oh well.
Yeah, cool. I think she like takes the dream, the dream vial, and like looks down at the paper. And how does it look when you like? We never really seen anyone consume one of these dreams. How does that look?
I think they must be administered like one of those, well, through the nose, like these neti pots where you rinse your nose, and it needs to be poured in, which is at first a bit, not pleasant.
Yeah, and I think as she does that, she slips like the vial halfway, so she's, and it like goes to the floor and crashes. And I think you see her like fall into sleep, and you see like this small rest of the dream like coming up towards you and entering your nose.
Oh.
And I think we cut there back to where is Joseph now? Where is he going?
Joseph is looking for the best composer in Itras By. And I think the biggest chances are probably in the smoke cutter. Or maybe, yeah, in the smoke cutter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think yeah, you walk into the smoke cutter, and you see someone gets punched by a guy with a heart on his shoulder, on his sleeve, I guess. And I think also I am imagining how this person looks. I think it is a woman. She has short, like white hair. She wears this like very elegant black dress. She looks a bit different than most people here. And because I mean the rest of the places was more like retro was the style, but I think she looks very like classically beautiful, but also old. I imagine like maybe being cast as Glenn Close, something like that. And her name is Greta, I think, von Eisenbach. And she, I mean, I think you have tried to approach her before, but it's a bit frustrating this way because, I mean, I think she knows about your gift. And she's already gifted, so why should she talk to you?
Because I'm charming and beautiful.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. She's sitting. She's sitting at the end of the bar, together with like a small gentleman with a lot of greasy product in his hair, and like a suit with a flower in his front pocket. And she's looking very entertained by this person. What do you do?
Is there anyone else I know in the bar?
I think you see on the floor there is the PI.
Yeah, I help him. So was Greta the one who knocked him out?
No, there was just a big regular customer.
Yeah.
Looks like a sailor, but is nicely dressed. I think this is like the new hipster trend to look like a sailor instead of a lumberjack in Itras By.
Joseph makes a mental note to maybe get a tattoo or at least a striped dress. He helps the PI out up, and he says, "My friend, you look like a very gifted gatherer of information."
The PI set his eyes on Joseph, who was possibly one of the most beautiful people he'd ever seen. For a moment, the PI was almost struck mute. Well, the PI was always struck mute, but especially so at this present moment in time. Even the monologue took a moment to gasp. PI wondered what the hell Joseph would want with him.
Well, let's go over to the other side of the bar so Greta doesn't hear us. And
yeah, and I think she looks over the shoulder of this short gentleman she's sitting next to with like an ice cold stare. And then gets back to talking with him.
So PI, I have a very special a job for you, which is I would like to steal a heart.
PI took a big sip of his bourbon and thought, "You almost already did."
To be precise, I want to steal her heart. And he points at Greta.
The trouble, the PI thought, is when people ask you to do things like this in Itras By, was it literal or metaphorical?
I asked myself the same question, but I think metaphorical will do.
PI wondered what the hell this woman had not to have immediately fallen for Joseph's charms. Something must be odd about you.
I'm flattered, my disheveled friend. It might be she doesn't have one.
Yeah, and I think as you say that, you see like this short gentleman running out of the bar crying.
Sorry, who was the short gentleman?
Who was sitting talking to Greta.
Ah. Dame with no heart that needed to be stolen. PI finished his drink and looked at Joseph and thought, worked together before. He knows it's $25 a day plus expenses. and the expenses are always more than $50 a day.
So we have a deal.
He finished his drink and gestured towards Joseph. He also knew that Joseph never had the money to pay.
I'm so close. I'm so close to blow away the art scene in Itras By. I already have the best story ever told. The libretto is written. I just need one single piece, which is the composer.
Yeah.
Joseph couldn't pay. The PI wondered if maybe he could help him with his other case and figure out where Frida got her tattoo.
Oh, Frida, of course. I might get a clue by wandering through her dream. She made it specially for me, and it is supposed to be about a monkey uprising, but you never know with dreams where they lead you.
PI looked nervous. He wondered if Joseph knew what he knew about the Leninist monkeys and their communist uprising.
Yeah, and I think you hear like the door of the bar slam shut as the small gentleman has finally reached the door, and you see as you say whatever you're about to say, you see Greta meeting your gaze with like a smile on her face, like she's just bettered you in heartbreaking.
Joseph leans into PI. Good that we have a factory for broken hearts.
Yeah, and I think we cut back to Frida. You find yourself like in this dream. You are in a maze. It's a maze made out of like it's like a garden maze. What about the maze, Horst, makes you sure that this is a dream?
So it's a hedge maze.
Yes.
And every couple of meters there is this gigantic birds, cut into the plant matter. But these birds, they do move. They change from one side of the maze to the other, opening and closing passages between the different lanes.
Yeah, you're standing in the maze, and I think you hear the voice of an opera coming from the middle of the maze. What do you do, Frida?
Well, since I don't know any other way out, I feel kind of trapped and try to reach the opera sounds that I can hear. I try to go there, but the birds are always blocking my path.
Yeah, they are. It's very annoying. It is. How does the birds look, Dave? What birds are they?
The birds are bluebirds. They're bluebirds of happiness, but they don't look too happy right now.
Yeah, and I think one of them stops up angrily while you're trying to walk past it, and says, "No, not today." And and then pushes you back with its wings.
How can this bird be so big? And but I just want to get out of this maze, I say to the bird, and try to push him away.
I think it like flaps at you with its wings and says, "No, you have to get in to find out the reason for this commotion. I am feel very unhappy, and I have never felt so bad before. You have to find out. Something is amiss."
Something. Well, maybe you're dreaming. Maybe it's not even real. Maybe this is a dream for you. I mean, maybe you just try to wake up. And she tries to shake the bird.
I think you can draw an action card here.
Yes. Okay, another guess, but the character succeeds, but the consequences of the success are completely different from what was expected. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I think what was expected that you pushed it away?
Yeah, I expected the bird to kind of come out of his kind strange state and make way.
Yeah, and I think you do hit it directly in its beak.
Oh.
And you see its face like get flinged over, and it falls to the ground, and like looking up at you with tears in its eyes. No, why did you do that?
Oh my God!
And
I think I killed the bird.
and it like you see its feather, its wings just like flop out, and it's lying there on the ground, dead in front of you.
I didn't want the salmon. Well, I go down on my knees and try to comfort the bird, and is it dead?
Yes, it is.
Oh no!
You can see that the tears from its eyes is still wet on the ground.
Well, since I always carry a few bottles with me in my coat pocket, I of course take a sample of the tears and see if they're still there when I wake up. And then, hesitatingly, I go through the passage that is opened.
Yeah. And I think you come out in a place you know from before, which is the Monkey Gardens in Mint Knoll. And you see it's strange. You're not sure if this is a dream or not still, but this looks more real. There's like this group. There's two monkeys. They're playing chess. And they look up at you very like baffled at you showing up out of nowhere.
Oh, excuse me? Could you tell me where the way out or maybe in is?
I think the one person starts, "Out of what?" And then the other one says, into what? What are you talking about? They both say at the same time.
Well, isn't there a maze? And I turn around to see if the maze is still there.
Nothing there.
Oh, well, I guess. Well, did you see me come here? I mean, how did I arrive?
They both like shrug their shoulders and say, "I don't know, but people have been showing up here out of nowhere the last few days. It's very strange."
It is strange. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to disturb. And I turn around and go home.
And I think you hear like the one monkey like slap the clock on the chessboard and says, "Ha!" And the other one says, "Ha! I won several minutes on you there." And you come out and you seem to be in Mint Knoll. Strange.
Yeah, that's weird.
So I think well, back at the smoke cutter, I think there's are you still there, both of you?
Yeah, I think so. The PI was waiting for Frida to come back down the stairs and take a photo of her tattoo, but she's gone missing.
Yeah, very strange. Is Joseph still there as well?
Yeah, Joseph tries to, bet his eyelids. Is that an expression? At Greta.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you're having like a staring match or something right now.
Well, it's from Josip's side. It's more like a seduction attempt. At Greta is staring.
Seems like an action card.
Oh, please let it succeed. Yes, but the character succeeds, but there's a tiny detail that doesn't go quite as planned.
Yeah. Yes, I think. She like at you, smiles at you doing your posing, and she like wings you over, and she calls for like the bartender and says, let's have a dream on the house. And the bartender just like looks at her and nods. What dream have you sold the bartender for such an occasion, Frida?
A dream he can pass out to his customers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, must be a pretty general dream, something pleasant. I think it was something like being really famous and being interviewed by a radio host.
And she like takes the dream into and pours it into a glass and then says, "Oh, Joseph, I always wanted to share a dream with someone. What do you say?"
Darling, I've waited for this moment for so long to share a dream with you. Let's do it.
And she like I think she gives you the glass and takes her up and like takes, I think she also like takes it down the nose, which is the way to do this, it seems. And I think the PI, you see both of them falling asleep on the bar desk, and the bartender is just like looking at them, shaking his head.
So as they both fall asleep, the PI pulls a stethoscope from his pocket and goes over to both to check if they actually have hearts.
Yeah, and I think yeah, you go over to them and like you check with the stethoscope.
Yeah.
So Joseph, is there any sound?
No, I think that one of the conditions the devil gave Joseph is there's no heart.
And I think on Greta you hear like this. There is sound there, but it's a bit strange. Like it's almost like it's gear work and not a heartbeat. And I think you can feel this like someone poking you on the shoulder.
The PI turns around and puts the stethoscope to their heart.
Yeah, it's you put the stethoscope on a shoulder where it says "I heart Dad." And I think once again you get a fist in your face. And as you get up, you see Frida walking in.
Yeah, Frida shakes her head. She hasn't even seen the first time, but this doesn't seem to be unusual. She shakes her head. Not again. She goes to help you up.
The PI rubs his jaw. Every time this Dane walks into the bar, he got a sock to the jaw. This wasn't a coincidence. He took her hand and looked inquisitively at the tattoo on her arm.
What? Well, that's... She just tries to pull the shirt sleeve back down. What are you doing?
He looked at the artwork. It was unique. He'd never seen anything like it before. I wondered what the hell Maud wanted to find out about Frida.
Maud wants to find out about me? That's...
What was it with these two sisters? They looked like each other, but they were so different. Maud was cold and dominant and knew what she wanted, and Frida was hiding herself. Strange, he thought.
It's interesting. So you think I'm hiding? Well, I don't have anything to hide. Ask away. And she pulls the sleeve back and says, What do you want to know about this? Maybe you can tell me something I don't know.
The PI thought, at first looked at it, he couldn't quite make out what it looked like.
Well, it looks like a garden maze now. Did it look like that before, Frida?
I think it used to be more stylized maze, just thick lines, and now it looks more like a garden, in that it's more squarish and actually looks like hedges, shading and stuff.
Yeah, and I think you can see at the start of the maze there's a dead bluebird.
It's changed. This is just like in my dream.
The PI looked at the tattoo. He had noticed it before. Maud was dark and sucked the light from the room, but Frida was different. There was something about her, and this was strange. And it was clear that Frida was concerned and upset. He made a gesture to the barkeep and ordered 2 glasses of whiskey and whatever Frida was drinking.
Can I have a grape juice and just a plate of fresh grapes?
He like looked over at the PI and says, "I assume you're paying for the grapes, young man."
The PI smiled and nodded and thought, how funny it is that Maud's expenses will be paying for Frida's grapes.
Yeah, and the grapes and the whiskey arrive promptly afterwards.
So the PI looked back and looked at Frida and thought, any moment now, she's going to spill it and she's going to tell me where she got that tattoo.
Well, so I don't actually know where I got the tattoo. It just appeared. That's the thing. It just appeared, and I don't even know when it appeared. I don't remember. I don't know if I've had it for months or years, or maybe even when I was born, but I don't know about that.
The PI sipped at the whiskey and thought, She definitely hasn't had it since she was born. It was clear that Maud was jealous because Frida had something that Maud didn't possess. That was the hook. And there was nothing that he thought would be more amusing than using Maud's money to uncover Frida's problem.
Well, that's what she paid it for, isn't it? Well, anyway, and she pops a grape into her mouth. Well, maybe you can help me too find it.
And I think we see like the camera like zoom in on the tattoo, and as we like zoom in, suddenly we're in the maze again in the middle, and I think we see Joseph there together with Greta, and on that we'll have a small break. We can be back at 15 post.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that is very reality check right there. Well, I think we will give you congratulations or condolences depending on your mood at 1930 GMT then. I think we are back into like we're in the center of the maze, and I think there is like this pavilion there, and I think actually you see Kasha sitting at this table in the middle of the pavilion, talking with this monkey you recognize as Frank. And I think Greta looks like strangely at you, and like with this look, and says, "Well, this was unexpected. I certainly didn't think that this was a dream I was supposed to have."
Weren't we supposed to be interviewed?
Maybe if we go in, maybe is the woman there a reporter, perhaps?
No, that woman is Kasha. She's a very famous librettist.
A librettist? Do those interview people?
Well, you have to know her. She writes the words that you compose music to, or it's the other way around. I'm not sure.
That's an undervalued profession. I really never know the name of the librettist.
Well, Greta, you're so beautiful and talented. Why can't we be together? And you might appreciate the words that she's writing right now.
Perhaps it doesn't matter what I appreciate. It matters what the audience appreciates. If the reviews are good, that's what matters. Have you lost your ambition? I thought has this love affair made you dull?
And Josip sinks to his knees and looks up at Greta and says, "You can make all my dreams come true if only you write the most beautiful piece for me. I beg you. I haven't lost my ambition. My ambition is bigger as ever."
She I think she like looks down at you with like this disappointed look, and like says, "Well, we paid for the stream. Might as well go check out what they're talking about then, and maybe a reporter will show up. Who knows?"
And Josip sighs because his plan hasn't worked out yet, and he gets up, brushes off the dust on his trousers, and says, "Let's go out. Let's go and check it out then."
Yeah, and I think as you come up, you see Kasha like eagerly interviewing the monkey about his experience of oppression under the I guess it is some kind of human narky, he's calling it. And that and I think he's just like finishing a sentence where he's just saying that, "Did you know that they haven't done maintenance in the ape gardens for years, just because no humans go there anymore. Well, except people that just comes out of dreams. For some reason, they always end up with a chess table. And I think you see like you see Kasha saying like, "Oh no, that's horrible. My parents always told me not to go there because it's overgrown, and I don't know. I think well, I'm a bit ashamed to say it, but as she said, you were dangerous." And I think you see Greta like looking at this, and she's folding her arms like this.
Yeah, Josip mirrors her, crosses his arms as well, and he whispers, "Politics is so boring, isn't it? Why can't we all just enjoy the art?"
Yeah, and I think like out of nowhere, there's this reporter who shows up and says, and he's like, "Oh, we're here from the Morning Post radio. How does it feel, Joseph, to be such a heartless person?"
And Josip flashes a smile and he says, "Well, I'm actually not that heartless. The interest of the ape population really touches me, and I think we all should work together to make life for apes and humans better. In fact, there is the ape issue is being inquired by this new famous book by Hans Gustav, and I can tell you something. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an opera coming out.
Yeah, and I think this is like definitely like an action card right here. You're doing your PR operation.
It is. Let's see. I have to discard this. Another yes, but the character succeeds, but something completely unrelated goes wrong for the character or someone she cares about.
Yeah, and and I think like as you say that, you hear like you hear this very like loud noise coming from Greta next to you, like almost like there's something going wrong in a clockwork, a big one. And I think you hear her like say, "Oh no, emotions, oh," and she like falls to her knees, and I think you see like the Frank and Kasha like just completely being like enraptured in themselves, and then suddenly like noticing there's someone's there, and then and Frank is like, "I thought we were alone. I told you this in confidence," and he like takes the hand of Kasha and like starts running towards the where the maze starts. What do you do?
Yeah, I take out a stethoscope and check for the sound of Greta's heart.
Yeah, it sounds like there's something going wrong a little bit with the gears turning. Yeah, it's also true. The stethoscope industry is
booming.
Yeah, like there is, it's coming into a path that is not meant to exist.
There's only one chance. We need to go deeper. And he pulls out Frida's dream that was meant for Ellie. And he pulls half of it in Greta's left nose hole, and the other half in his own.
Oh, cool. I think actually this is a chance card. Sounds like something completely random might happen.
Inner monologue. Through the scene, you can at any time point your finger at someone, PC or NPC. That character's player must stand up and utter a short inner monologue. Say whatever's on the character's mind at the time.
Oh, the irony.
It will probably be Frida because, I mean, the PI is already talking in inner monologue.
Well, she's not right in the scene right now, is she?
I think though that at this moment you see your tattoo start. There's a lot of things starting to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I think actually, like you're starting to hear this this opera song coming out of it.
Out of my tattoo. Oh my.
The PI puts the stethoscope up to the tattoo and gives one part of the ear across to hear the song.
It's the most beautiful sad song you ever heard.
Okay. So, Horst, anytime or right now the monologue?
No, I'm holding my
Alright.
horses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What? This is weird. Is this music coming from my arm? And she pulls the sleeve back over the tattoo and I'm not sure.
Weird, thought the PI. He'd never met someone with a world tattooed on their arm before.
Listen, so Maud came to you to find out about me, right?
The PI nodded.
Maybe. Well, I know she's been up to something bad, and she's moved out. She left the house a few months ago, and I haven't. Well, I have met her sometimes, and she seems to be doing some kind of criminal stuff. I would love to find out what's going on, what she's doing, and how to stop it. Maybe we can help each other here.
The PI was unsure. He'd already accepted an agreement with Maud, but he was right. Frida was right. He didn't trust her. She was up to something. He waited for Frida's offer.
Oh, well, I don't actually have any money. But since she paid you, can't you use that money? No, right.
And the PI thought to himself then, it would have been easy for anyone to have made a mistake between Frida and Maud. They look so much alike. So maybe if Frida was to put on a Maud-like voice and speak to him like that, he wouldn't really be breaking the contract.
Right. Well, and she tries to pretend as though she has some kind of cigarette holder. Well, if you could help me find out about my sister, I would be very much obliged, since I already paid you to do it.
I think this requires an action card, actually.
Could you be so easily fooled? Or maybe to be fooled. Yes, but only if the character can get what she wants, but only if he chooses to make a certain sacrifice. Oh, another sacrifice. All right, I already know what I could sacrifice.
Well, actually, I think it's the PI who's, because it's the PI's agreement.
Okay.
And I think like there's like a smash cut to the contract that's sitting on your desk in your office, and the contract is you see like the writing on the contract changes to just from mod hireling to just hireling. And but now also the thing that's going to be investigated also changes from being Frida to just being hireling. And I think yeah, who are you going to investigate now? The PI. The contract says.
The PI loved a mystery, and what more possibly noir than finding out the secrets of these two strange sisters. He nodded in agreement and took a sip of his whiskey. The clause of the contract updated to note we'd need to discover who drew that tattoo, and we need to find a way of fixing a broken machine heart.
Oh, well, Rita thinks, or actually gives her monologue, saying, well, I don't know if this PI is a bit stupid or if he wants to actually help me, but seems to have worked. He may get to the mod thing without having to pay anything. It's kind of useful, actually.
And I think we cut back to a new dream, where you yeah, I wonder how this is. I think you're like now. Actually, you're in the dream. Maybe you were thinking you were going to. And I think you're standing in front of like a like one of these old cameras where there's like this yeah, and there's this guy starting to take a picture, and then there's like this big flash, and it blinds the both of you as you just like appear in front of them, and as you stand there like still like dazzled, there's a person coming up to you and says, so how does it feel to have made the most beautiful piece of artwork that Itras By has ever seen, Josip?
It is more than art. It is art, life, politics, emotions all coming together. The borders are destroyed. We are living in a new era, the era of poetic revolutions, where revolutionists shoot with flowers and writers write with blood. Hail the revolution. The ape revolution is coming.
Yeah, and I think the reporter like claps excitedly and says, yes, it turns out that the only person who has spilled any blood during this whole process is you, Josip. Isn't it?
We call it collateral damage. Us revolutionary spoken. We all have to sacrifice something. I sacrificed my heart, and I would give it away again and again. But we all do it for the art, for life, for us, and for you.
and he turns over to Greta, and she's still, like still hulking, crying, and you can still hear like this very loud sound, like the engine of the car broke or something, and it's making like this very wrong sound. And yeah, what about you, Greta? How do you feel about making contributing to this magnificent piece of art? And I think she she turns towards you, Joseph, and then you see her like face. It's not like tears, but it seems like it's, well, I guess it is, but it's like out of oil, and her whole face is like greased up from trying to like wipe the tears, and she said, it's horrible, horrible. I would have never, and this person is horrible.
Don't listen to her. Josip moves to like in front of the camera and closer to the microphone. Greta is old. She represents the old ruined society that will go down. The new society will be made out of people who have steel hearts. They will never run out. They will never spill oil.
Yeah, and I think that's like the last thing that happens before you wake up. And I think you see immediately, you wake up like a half a second before Greta does, and you see her like, I think you see her like hulking like dryly, like not crying, but you see her like body moving like she's crying, and she like wakes up and she looks up at you very confused. For like you have like half a second to say something before she gets up and leaves.
Half a second.
Well, not literally, but
yeah, I know. Yeah, Josip just shakes his head. Greta, you were the greatest, and now what has become of you? Crying, really?
and she gives you like this hard stare, and says, "This reality will never happen," and she like walks out of there. Is there anything else any of you want out of this scene?
No, Josip doesn't.
Cool. I think that's we cut the scene there then. So I'm gonna have like a small round around the table to see if there's any scenes you'd like to have. Starting with the PI.
I think the PI is going to stake out and investigate Maud.
Yeah. So how do you go about that?
So Maud doesn't live in Churchill, does she? She's more well-to-do. She's elsewhere in the city.
I think actually she lives in downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you'd what is, I think actually that Maud she works in the Moon Tower.
Ooh.
And I think these days she's mostly working after she got thrown out of, or I guess escaped, or whatever she did from the family home. And if you take her down, I think you end up there.
Okay.
I think it's like in the evening. It's quite empty there. You see like this. I imagine the moon tower looking a little bit like a tree without branches in its like structure. Like it's broad in the bottom with these. It looks like a little bit organic, and you see like these windows being distributed a little unevenly across the tower, and there's like stairs on the outside somewhere, and it goes like very like it's so high that you can't really see the top, at least during nighttime when it's dark. But today I think you see like there's a half a moon, and you see like it's standing on the top of the tower, almost like it's a part of it. Of course you know that it isn't, but that's why it's called the moon tower. What do you do?
He takes up a position in the shadows, but close to a lamppost, and waits for Maud to come off shift. When she leaves, perhaps she's arm in arm, looking happily chatting to one of the inspectors in the Grey Guard.
Yeah, and surely enough, only a few minutes later, or was it hours, she comes out of the tower, just as you predicted, with a handsome fella with a beard, dressed in a Grey Guard uniform. He holds her arm on the side where you're standing. So, and as you're walking up, he notices you and gives you a stare.
Damn, thinks the PI. That explains where the money came from. He doffs his hat and thinks this is going to be complicated. Walks across the square and into one of the nearby beer cellars and takes a seat. Why didn't Frida warn me that Maud was involved with the Grey Guard?
And I think you see in the bar is completely empty. The only person there is a woman dressed in a blue striped shirt with a tattoo of an anchor on her neck.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks at you. So what's it gonna be? 2 whiskeys and grapes?
You looked at the woman and thought, I've got no one to eat grapes with. It'll just be the whiskies.
Yeah. And I think if that's okay with you, we cut the scene there.
Yeah.
So how about Frida? What's the scene you want for her?
Well, I would be interested in whether the bird tears I collected in my dream are still there, and if so, whether they can give me some hint about the labyrinth.
Yeah, they are still there. It's as if it wasn't a dream at all.
That's strange. So I guess she remembers the bottle of tears when she's at home, and takes it out and puts it into a little pot, and possibly I think she makes a dream potion out of them.
What green?
A dream potion.
Yeah, I think you see the dream potion, like the tears of the bird is like impossibly clear blue. It's very beautiful, and even when you mix it with other ingredients, which usually makes them a little bit like murky and weird looking, it still keeps like same very like clear blue color.
That's interesting. Well, then she deliberates whether she should take the potion herself, because she hasn't actually actively tried that before. I think the labyrinth dream was the first dream of her own making that she consumed. And she wonders if it's safe to try this alone, or if she should give this to the PI, possibly, since he's the one who's getting paid to find out about this. And I think she actually decides to go to his office and convince him to try the potion. Is it already late at night? Possibly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but
I hope he's...
the office is of course open, isn't it? Though PI.
Yeah, there's a typewriter continually typing that speaks in a broad New York accent.
Well, I was looking for the PI, but... And she looks at the typewriter. What? Are you some kind of a tape recorder for... I don't know. Do I speak into this? Where's your boss? She says into the typewriter loudly. Does it speak?
If I'm going to answer for it, then the answer is it says in a broad New York accent. He goes, "I'm typing here." He's in the office, same where he'd always be, looking at the monkey conspiracy board, drinking whiskey. It's out of office hours. Why are you here?
Well, I was bringing some evidence for the case he's working on.
Ow, go right in.
Well, all right. She's shaking her head again. This is strange office implement. Well, Frida is going in and sitting down, pretending to have a cigarette holder. Well, PI, I do have some evidence you might want to look into about my sister.
The PI broke out of his concentration span round. As was the case in this office, as everyone came in, they went into monochrome. The oddest thing was the tattoo on Frida's arm, which was still full of color. He looked at her and wondered what the evidence was, and why she was here quite so late.
Well, I have this peculiar potion I found. Well, actually, I created it from some artifacts I picked up in a dream about this tattoo, and I thought you should probably try it for research, of course. And she holds the bottle, clear and blue liquid out. It's completely harmless, of course.
He walked over to the drinks cabinet and poured 2 whiskeys and wondered how he could tell Frida that he'd not dreamed since he lost his voice. Came round and passed her the whiskey and took the bottle.
Well, that is the perfect opportunity, isn't it?
You drink the dream?
He wondered, and if he takes out the stopper and smells the bottle. Normally, all he smelt was corruption and cynicism, smell of stale tobacco and dried whiskey. This smelled differently. What does it smell like?
I think it smells a bit like probably violets.
He looked at the woman and was trying to sort of size up whether to trust her. This could be a Mickey Finn. He didn't know if this dame was on the level. He looked again at the tattoo. Decided to give her the benefit of the doubt. He knew he'd regret it. And suck back the potion in a single mouthful. Maybe wondering this time if he would actually sleep or dream.
Interesting. I think what would be a happy dream from the PI's childhood? What would that look like?
I think the PI can't quite remember their childhood or whether, everything sort of starts in the same place for someone coming into the office and then there's a new mystery to solve. They're more of a cipher than a real person. So there is no dream of childhood. But perhaps instead then it's a dream of Frida and Maud's childhood. So he has no dreams of his own, their own even, but maybe he has someone else's dreams in the bottle, giving a clue.
Yeah, that's cool. I think in this dream, you are Maud. And you're in this small apartment in the Black Bay. And you see all the windows are open. It's summer, and there's like a summer breeze like going through the apartment. And I think you can see there's you're sitting on the floor of the hallway, on the looking into what is Frida's room today, and like there's, I think there's like clothes everywhere, and you can see like this pile of papers, and as like the wind flies through it, it like blows some of the papers off the stack, and it flies like into the room where you're sitting, Frida. What do you do?
So I'm little Frida.
Yes.
I think I'm playing with a few kittens. Actually, 6 kittens, and the other 6 cats I have now were Maud's kittens.
Yeah, and I think like the kitten, as there's like this paper flying over it, it like tries to grab it with its paws.
Well, I tried to grab the paper and read it to see why is this paper here? I don't remember. Well, judging by the mess, it's just some old paper. Try to read it.
What did you write on it, Maud?
Maud wrote. Maud wrote the. Maud wrote the formula for. How old are the kids? Let's say she's still a genius. Maud wrote the formula for turning bottled dreams into distilled ink.
Oh, child genius.
Yeah, and I think you hear like the your both of your mothers like running to like through the hallway, like, no, not the papers, not the papers, and like I think runs like past you more and then stumbles on like this pile of clothes straight in front of you, Frida, and then and like falls to the ground holding this paper. And I think the kittens, like all of them, run away to try to hide, being very afraid of this big commotion.
Scatter in the wind. Yeah. I think Frida says, Maud, what? Why do you steal people's dreams?
Maud, as a child, has a cigarette holder and a cigarette still.
Of course.
And Maud says, they don't know what to do with them. They waste them. We could do so much more, you and I. Take the dreams and turn them into something beautiful.
But it's not right. You can't. I tried to give them something and you take it away. It's not right. You should know that.
Why should I know that?
I don't know. I mean, we're the same. That's why.
We're not the same, dear sister, but two sides of the coin.
Yeah, and I think you see like your mother is like slowly getting up, and she's looking at she I think she's like bleeding a little from her knee, and I think like she points at you, Frida, and says, Maud, can you please get me something to clean up this wound with?
Yes, of course, mother. And she rushes to the kitchen and finds some kind of cloth.
Yeah, and I think you wake up PI. You're at the bar. I think we cut to Joseph. What are you? Where are you?
Josip is strolling with Kasha through the ape gardens, and he points at features of the garden, and they look like a couple holding hands and laughing and.
Yeah, it's quite beautiful here, even though it's very overgrown. You see this. There's two of the apes that are standing, tending to like a flower bed, and I think they like talk. One of them is like whispering something to the other one, and the other one is like shaking his head and then like looking up at you and smiling, and says, "Good day, sir, madam."
Well, hello, my furry friend. And he whispers into Maud's ear. listen closely at the sound, the rhythm of their voice. We need to imitate it. And then flashes a smile again. So, what do you do?
What do you mean? What do I do right now?
Yes.
We're just planting these roses.
Is this? Do you feel the oppression?
What do you mean?
The humanocracy, pulling you down, the chains of humanity holding you back, limiting your potential.
Yeah, and I think you see the other monkey is like gets up and in like a wild movie, like beats his chest with his one fist and says, "Yes, yes, it's them who did it." And you like see the roses; they are blue, and they killed the happy bluebirds, as if they couldn't even let us have that.
And Joseph turns around and whispers to Maud again, "Do you feel the passion? Do you feel anxiety? You need to put it in words. You need to put it in song." And he turns around again and says, "How do you feel about it? Like, what are you going to do?"
I think the other monkey that first stopped you, he says, like, he is trying to like he's holding around his friend's shoulders and says, come on, Martin. It's okay to be sad. You don't have to lash out at everyone who walks past.
Sadness. Oh, sorry.
And like, I think the monkey named Martin, he just like looks angry up at you and like scoffs. Why would I tell you?
Not all humans are heartless and oppressive. Some of them are on your side.
I think this perhaps is an action card, actually.
Help is needed, and the character ends up understanding that she needs the help of someone not currently in the scene to achieve this aim.
Yeah, I think maybe you need. I exactly know who you need help of. Actually, of course, you need help from Hans Gustav. He's the only one who would let you speak to the apes, and without them being stressed by your presence. And I think actually he the Martin in front of you, he says, he like shakes his head and says, there has been other people here who have come and said that, but they still destroy everything. How will you be any different?
Well, I will come back, Martin, and you will see the purity of my goals.
Yeah, and I think you can feel Kasha's. It was Kasha you were with, right?
Yeah.
Kasha's arm like clutching your arm pretty like hard. She's and she like, as you walk away, she says, they scare me. Their intensity is fierce.
And after they are a little bit away from the apes, Joseph takes her into his arms and and then pulls her away to face him and says, "It is the intensity that you have to put into the work. Don't you want to be immortal in your in the art that you create?"
I think she looks down at the ground for like a second and like it walks a little bit in silence and says, "Well, isn't it wrong for me to be immortal by telling a story of someone else's suffering?"
It's not wrong. It's Look at it this way. If you feel their pain, that is good. If you don't feel their pain, their voice will be heard. It is good either way. Make it art.
She nods and like moves her like hand from down, like holding you like in the arm to taking your hand, and like smiles at you, like slyly, or like slightly, I guess, not slightly, and she says, "Well, I never would be able to write this without you. Sometimes I wonder how you bring this out in me. But I'm thankful."
And Josip has a sheepish smile maybe as well, and he says, "Well, a dance never lasts forever, nor should it."
Yeah, and I think the scene cuts as you see Kasha's like face, and I mean I think that you notice. I mean she has like she's has a tired face. I think like even though but it lights up when she smiles, and I think you see like this contrast very well in this moment when she goes from like this smile of being in love with you, and then until realizing that of course you're not around for her really. And I think she understands that because she's grown up in a hard neighborhood and she knows how it is. And back at the bar, you, the PI, wake up from this dream, and look into the same face as you were just a few seconds ago. However, a little bit older. I think. How Frida, do you like what is the thing that about how you look now in comparison to how you're a kid that tells you that you lived a life?
I think how old is Frida again? 27. I think she has bit of a crease between her eyes from worry, I guess, from living in this in Black Bay, in the tiny apartment, and trying to make her place in the world.
Yeah, I think you notice this very clearly as you. I mean, you rarely see this contrasts when you know people for a long time, but you really just saw Frida 20 years ago, just a second ago. What do you do when you wake up?
Is Frida there? Or was the PI on his own?
Or is it Maud?
Or Maud? I don't know. Who is there? Is the PI?
Well, I think Frida's there with him, right?
I was assuming that you were still in the bar, but I guess that's a relevant question. But if Frida is still there, then if she's not there, then you didn't see Frida's face again. I did notice that maybe. But that
Well, we
doesn't
took
matter.
the dream in the PI's office, so something must have happened to get us from here to the bar.
Oh well, strange things happen in Itras By, right?
Yeah, so yeah.
People are turning up everywhere.
The PI, I think the PI looks at Frida and recognizes where those worry lines on her brow comes from. Takes her by the hand and nods. His sister's a bad piece of work.
Yeah, well.
Gotta go down.
Well, actually, I don't. Maybe she has her reasons. I mean, everything is. I'm not sure if there are really bad people in the world, or just people who have reasons.
Everyone's
Anyway.
something high, thinks the PI.
So, did you find out about the tattoo? I guess you didn't.
The PI wonders if Frida remembers that Maud, when she was young, found a way of distilling dreams into something more like an ink.
No, I didn't remember that. That's what she really did that? Huh. So you think it was her who made the tattoo?
And I think as you say that, actually, the door to the bar opens and Maud walks in. Looking much the same as last time she did this at the exact same time. And I think actually we're gonna have like a 5-minute break here. Be back at okay, 20, I guess.
Yeah,
cool.
And have a last few scenes. Cool. Yes, we are back. I think as Maud comes in, she walks directly over to you, Frida, and says, "You killed the bird?"
I didn't do it on purpose, and it wasn't in a dream, and it wasn't in a dream anyway, and not real life. So I don't know. I didn't do anything.
In a dream? What? Have you woken up?
Actually, though, no. Actually, I just turned up at the square with the monkeys, and then I went home. So you're saying I'm still in the dream?
She's looking over at to the PI and says,
No.
Is it a dream when you don't wake up, PI?
How is he supposed to know? He doesn't dream anyway.
The PI, yeah, looks at Frida and nods. Girl, smart. He looks at Maud and says, "How does Maud get this? Is this Maud?"
And she like shakes her head and says, "Well, this is my nightmare then, because I am supposed to be the bad one. If you go around killing happiness birds, what am I supposed to do?"
First of all, I didn't intend for the bird to die. It blocked my path, and I just tried to move it. So it was an accident. I'm not a bad person. You're the I don't know. You look like you're the bad person.
PI looked at Frida and tried to deal with the Jungian metaphor of her killing the bluebird of happiness and what this actually meant.
I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Was she the sort of woman who could kill her own happiness?
Frida looks at him quizzically. What? No. And she turns to Maud and says, Why do you know about the bird? Or why did you say birds? What kind of birds? It was just one bird.
Yeah, and I think you wake up. You're in the room over the mechanical heart factory, and Kasha is looking at you quizzically. Are you okay?
Was I dreaming? Was I sleeping? Did I speak in my dream? Perchance.
Yes, you were talking about dead birds. Dead bird?
Yes. I think I may have killed a bird in my dream, but it was just a dream, right?
Well, I feel very inspired. I think it may have worked. I talked with a monkey, and he was... Oh, their story. It's just so heartbreaking.
Yes, is it? The monkeys. I have heard about the monkeys, and it's... Tell me about it.
Yeah, and I think she like sits down, and while she starts like writing, and she says what she's writing, and you hear like her going on about how the monkeys have lived in the ape gardens for all this time, even before there was people in Itras.
Oh,
And then how at first they were had positions of high importance, but then the city they stopped. They were all working and nobody took care of the gardens, and slowly they were forgotten and talked about as creatures who were scary and tales of warning from parents telling their kids to not go to the ape gardens.
Oh, it's just terrible.
And I think we cut over to Joseph. You're in Greta's place. I think it's on the Mint Knoll, and it's you're in this like big room. It almost looks like, I imagine it being almost like it's made out of it's actually made out of marble, the whole like room, and there's like this big, there's not even like a window, it's just like it's almost I imagine it being like almost like a Greek temple except without columns. So like you see this huge open space where you see like out and you can see the whole of Itras By there, and you can also see like the big plains that surrounds it. And in the middle of this like big open space with view, there's Greta who's with on a piano, and she's like looking on her notes and like writing something. What do you do?
He sneaks up on her to surprise her and to sing the notes that she has just written.
Yeah, I think she is not so as surprised as you hoped, but when you start, I mean, she has a mechanical heart after all. But she welcomes you like with this. I think she's almost like solemn in a way. She's very like calm, and doesn't seem to like contest you being there, which is unnormal for her. And as you start singing the notes, I think she gets like up from her like piano stool, I guess, and like grabs you by like by the waist and says, I think perhaps this could be too beautiful for me to bear.
What would be?
The combination of all these fantastic pieces of art. Are you not afraid of what would happen when people go to the opera and hear all these great pieces of art at once?
No. Afraid? Are you an artist or are you a coward? And if my life ended the moment we play it, and if the people attending tear me apart and burn down the opera, it will be worth it.
Is there any cost that you wouldn't pay Joseph?
No. I tell you something, Greta. I sold my soul to the devil. I have no heart. Before you is the husk of a man. I gave everything away for this. Will you join me? Will you help me take the last step?
And I think she looks at you with like a very like undiscernible face for like what seems to be a little while. Probably it's just a few seconds, and she if you let her, she hugs you.
I let her.
And she whispers in your ear, well, if you want it that much, who am I to stop you? And she, yeah.
So not only allowing her to hug me, but hug her back passionately.
And she sits down by the piano and she starts playing the music. And I mean, usually, I mean, your gift is to that that you grant every artist you're intimate with the ability to create one piece of beautiful art, right? But you haven't really, at least not in the way you usually do, had a intimate moment with Greta. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess this is it was an intimate moment, but it's definitely like different from what you're used to. And the music she's playing is the most beautiful music you ever heard. It's just perfect. How do you feel?
I mean, if it's the most beautiful music I've ever heard, then it would feel like regret for that I don't have a heart to actually appreciate it. So it's a weird, obviously, exaltation or like euphoria to hear the music, and then there's this slight tint or hint of regret.
Yeah, and I think we can see like this bluebird like sitting on a branch that is like in front of the big view, and like it's looking at you, and then it flies away, and the feeling of euphoria disappears. This music is still playing. And I think, actually, even though we're a bit ahead of time, this is a perfect place to end the episode. Well, Itras By.
Yeah, that was a beautiful last scene, I have to say.
Yeah, I enjoyed a lot of scenes today, actually. It is weird how feels very comfortable for me to play this very weird fiction. Apparently, it's easy. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It was really interesting to see sort of almost the pathos and the emotions and the backstories and the weirdness comes through, and it's. I thought there was going to be a lot of monkeys tonight, but there's less monkeys and more real tear-jerking drama.
Yeah.
Well, we had a couple of socking people on the eye. There was slapstick as well. So
Right. Something is up with those monkeys.
Yeah.
What's up with the monkeys and the tattoos and
And I'm wondering
strange artworks as well.
if it doesn't somehow is connected.
everything's connected.
Well, at the moment, I don't have a plan, but we'll see. This is all very flowing out from the fiction. You want to have a round of stars and wishes before we leave off?
Sure.
I can start with a star. I think I like to give. This is cheating, I know, but I like to give a star to all of you for making it. I am leaning quite heavily on you to also help me making this very weirdness fit together, and you're doing a very great job of it. And that's probably also, like, for example, I am asking a lot of things when you're playing mod, for example, in the dream, that sort of thing, where I'm just like leaning, I'm just counting on you to do cool things and letting control off, and it's working very nicely, and I really enjoyed seeing you do that, all of you. Anyone want to go next?
Yeah, I have something. I really liked how the action cards work to snowball the ideas, and I think a lot of things that you made up came from complications from the action cards, and I think that worked really well.
Yeah, I think so too. I really like the mechanic of the game. Actually, it's great for this kind of fiction.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go next. So I really enjoy the system. It's so unintrusive on the one hand. Sometimes with story games, you're really pressed into like very limited actions, but with Itras By is very open-ended. You can do whatever you want, and then the cards will tell you how what you attempted works out. Yeah, and I like that there are these three completely different characters. Frida seems to be a very good person. She has a good heart. Also, she kills birds, apparently. And the PI is very archetypical. And I definitely love his monologue. And although the three characters are so different, they come together quite nicely in this weird story. Yeah, I enjoy myself a lot.
And I think I'm going to cheat as well then in that respect, because actually, just because we have got three different characters, and Mikael's got a harder job, but the lean in and actually the support of building each other's fictions together, but still building your characters is ace. It is absolutely a joy to play.
Yes.
We're all awesome. Hooray for us.
Yes. As for wishes, I don't even like. I wish that I will come up with a great idea for how to tie this all together. But yeah, no, I really yeah. I hope that I will be able to fit some time to really tie this up nicely, because we made like a very cool fiction that is kind of also narrowing in a little bit now on some focus, but still, I really hope that I can also do it just with a good ending.
Do you think you need to, or just maybe tighten the callbacks? If you put a lot of effort in, I'm half wondering if we'll just break it in 5 minutes anyway.
No, I don't. I'm not planning to prepare a lot. I just plan to think about how it might. But yeah, I mean, I'll just have to go with the fiction. I think that's what I've done to now. But I hope also that I will try to not. Well, I mean, that's how it goes. Sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. You can't really. But I still hope so. Tina?
Yeah, I think I would like to know some more about the PI character, actually. I found it very sad that he doesn't remember his childhood, and I wish to find out about whether there is actually a childhood or whether he just appeared fully formed as an adult PI, and how he became mute.
I'm down for exploring that. Yes, I have a wish, which is now we figured out that Joseph's done a deal with the devil. I think I'm gonna need to track down and beat up the devil and get his soul back. That's my wish.
Yes, please. I want my soul back.
I think he really needs it now.
Yeah, another scene with a PI would be cool. Maybe a scene with the devil, and the devil shouldn't be smelling like sulfur and having horns or something. He should be Itras By compatible.
Yeah.
That sounds like an interesting challenge. Cool. Yeah, I have noted everything down. And I really look forward to next week. Thanks for playing, guys. A+ this time as well.
Yeah, thanks for playing, guys, and thanks for running, Michael. Mikhail.
Thank you, folks. Have a lovely evening.